right? So please, if you have your friends, your colleagues, family members, go on and share the invite link for them to join this call. Go on and share the invite link for them to join this call. We can have that in our chat box. We can put the link in the chat box so that you can go ahead and invite friends, colleagues to join the call as well, because you are going to be hearing enough insight that will probably get you to make the decision to want to transition into tech, right? Regardless of your background, regardless of your experience, regardless of the years you've been loyal to that particular profession. All right. So please ensure that you reach out to your friends to join the call as well. We promise that it's going to be an amazing time and we will not take so much of your time. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So that's the link in the chat box for as many who would like to get their friends to join the call as well. So please share with your network, share with them, share with them. We kindly crave your indulgence to do that very quickly. Okay, so without further ado, we have with us our guest speaker on the call today, and I'm super, super excited because for us, we don't just bring people on the call to just bring speakers on the call to just come share big things with us. These are people who are experienced people in the industry, and they are not here to sweet talk or to just package the whole thing for you. They are going to be sharing, he is going to be sharing with you real life on the job experience as it is hot in today's cloud DevOps market. And I'm sure that you are super, super ready. So, like our countdown says, get your pen ready, get your mindset ready, get your paper ready so you can get your notebook, your notepad, whatever it is, and be ready to take some notes down because it's going to be an amazing session. So, without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce our guest speaker very quickly before I hand over the microphone to him, basically. All right. So he is someone who has been with us. If you've been showing up at our webinars, you must have met with him one a few times before now. So Olawale Adepoju is a highly skilled cloud technology consultant and expert with over 8 years of experience transitioning from AI and machine learning engineering to cloud computing. He excels in cloud migration, operational excellence, and performance optimization, holding 11 AWS certifications. Currently a cloud operations engineer at Rockten Incorporated in Japan. He drives transformative cloud initiatives. Olawale leverages his expertise to empower clients, optimize operations, and drive business growth through innovative cloud solutions. His background in software engineering and AI, machine learning, provides a strong foundation for his pioneering work in cloud technology. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening we have with me on the call Olawale Adepoju, who is going to be talking to us basically about the cloud job market, right? Basically about the cloud job market, how to position yourself and the trends going on in today's industry, in today's cloud job market. So I have with me on the call Olawale Adepoju, and I'm just going to be handing over to him straight away. So please, if you have any question, we have the link in the chat box. So please ensure that you use the link that has been posted. That's the link to the Slido link. Please put your question in there. Don't put your question directly in the chat box because we might not be able to take them, right? So please ensure that you use the Slido link in the chat box to put in your questions and we will be sure to take them. So please ensure that you are attentive as well and also note your question down using the Slido link that is already in the chat box. So please ensure that you take note basically. It's going to be an amazing time. And right now I'm just going to be handing over to Olawale Adepoju to take over from here. Over to you, Olawale.
All right, thank you very much, Ife. That was a great introduction, by the way. So, hello everyone. As you said, my name is Olawale Adepoju. I'm a cloud architect at Rakuten Incorporations in Japan. So, and I have about 8 years experience transitioning from software engineering, machine learning engineer to cloud architect. So, I believe today, a lot of us would have expectations and questions as regarding the cloud market, the trend, the opportunities, and especially how to stand out in the market, which is the main reason why I believe most of us have actually joined this webinar. And also, I believe by the end of the section, we would know where the opportunities are, the skills and demand, and how to position, ourselves to stand out in the industry. As we all know, the industry keeps growing, and a lot of people coming into the tech space, and especially cloud engineering, cloud technologies. So at the end of this section, I believe each and every one of us will understand what we need to do, the opportunities, where the opportunities are, and also the skills required or in demand for you know to get a job or to get whatever we want in the job space, I mean the cloud technology space. I don't want to say the money in the cloud technology space, because I believe a lot of us would have actually have checked out, short videos on YouTube's where they talk about, DevOps engineering, solution architects, and so on and so on and so forth, whereby just like myself, when I look at those job descriptions, the next thing I look at is how much should they pay them, right? I believe most of us do that. We want to look at how much we would get paid at the end of, struggling to get certifications, to study, to do these things. So the money is why it's worth it. So I believe at the end of this, we would understand, is it really, are people really getting paid, the six figures in USD? Are people really getting paid that much? What do you have to do to actually get paid as a cloud engineer? So to begin with, cloud engineering has come to stay. That's what the first thing I will always say. So, what is the current cloud market landscape? And what are actually the trend? What is the driver between, the digital transformation as a driver between people migrating into the cloud space? I can say years back, I think about 2018, when data science was a buzzword, we realized everybody was talking about data science as data as the new oil. Data science is the 20th century $1 million job, and stuff like that. And all of a sudden now we're hearing about different platforms. We're hearing cloud, we're hearing platform engineering, we hear things like DevOps, solution architect, we hear things like prompt engineering, different things come into play in this era. But the one thing I can say is cloud has come to stay, regardless of whatever denomination or whatever job description you pick in the cloud. So we'll talk about what are the trends, what are the data points, what are the drivers behind, this cloud transformation, what are the drivers between the market landscape of the cloud engineering. So to even understand what cloud market is all about, as as said by Wikipedia, they said the growth and cloud actually has a rapid expansion currently. So they said the global cloud computing market is projected to grow from $626 billion in 2024 to over $1.2 trillion by 2029, which is about 15 to 17%. And this is not just about the big techs only. Not We're not talking about the Google, the Amazon, or the bigger companies. Now, it also involves the mid-sized businesses that are aggressively migrating, to cloud. And a few regions are actually spearheading this migration. We have in North America, we have like North America, which is America, Canada, we have the Asia Pacific, which are actually fast growing in terms of regions due to digitization of emerging economies. And also we see in Africa, Africa is seeing cloud leapfrogging, skipping the traditional infrastructure and going straight to cloud based services. And also we need to talk about the key technology trends if we're talking about cloud, because cloud is not just cloud. What is driving the cloud? So now we have, the multi-cloud and the IB strategies whereby organization no longer put all their eggs in like one basket. Now they are spreading their workload across AWS, Azure, GCP, Oracle. Before it used to be like, okay, you're going with one cloud platform, but now we have a hybrid system whereby we have, organizations going into multi-cloud just for redundancy, compliance, and also sometimes, cost control. And 70% of these large enterprise now report using one or two cloud providers. For example, in AWS, you have to manage cost and things like the cost optimization. We have services like Cost Explorers and different services in multi-clouds that are now leveraging, the cloud providers to report on maybe their business analytic tools, the BI tools. Before it used to be like a standalone thing, but now they're leveraging cloud for business analytics, business intelligence, for report, for cost optimizations and stuff like that. And now we're also seeing the era of serverless adoptions, whereby we see, the reduction in infrastructure management overheads. Nobody wants to spend time on, the infrastructure, managing infrastructures, going into data centers, the racks, and CPUs. Nobody wants to go through this overhead. It involves a lot of cost. So now people are going into the cloud because cloud offers you a serverless adoption, right? So now, and it's also perfect for maybe event-driven workloads, whereby you just need to do less, you focus more of your time on, the development of the product instead of worrying about the infrastructures. And now now that brings us to the era of AI. I believe each and every one of us has seen AI in one form or the other. ChatGPT, Gemini, different AIs. Now, this comes in forms of like edge computing, whereby you process like data closer to where it's been generated. For example, we have autonomous vehicles, we have IoTs, people who use smart homes, stuff like that. So we have IoTs and autonomous vehicles for low latency. So we process data now very close to us. And we have, integration with 5G, which is a game changer for, maybe real-time applications for gamers, people who stream, people who work on like big datas, which means data that are enormous in size. And the era of AI ML integration, cloud providers have actually integrated AI into all platforms. For some of us that are conversant with, with the updates in AI and ML artificial, which is artificial intelligence and machine learning. We have things like OpenAI for Google, we have Vertex AI, AWS has Bedrock, different AI. So cloud providers are now integrating that into their system. So instead of you saying you want to build your standalone AI to write the code from beginning to the end to deploy it in what have you, you can do all those things in the cloud, and it makes it easier for you. So these are one of the things that are actually like the trends that are driving, the cloud industry. And also, healthcare system, finances, telecommunication, whereby banks now are now, instead of the traditional way of keeping their infrastructures, everybody is now doing it in the cloud. So it saves them time. It helps with compliance, the governance and PCI DSS compliance and stuff like that. So, and the major driver of this market would be digital transformation, which all of us know. After the post-pandemic acceleration, you know, traditional industry like manufacturing are now going to cloud natives. After COVID-19, which was very rampant, we noticed a lot of organizations, a lot of people were working from home for a very long time. And this was possible due to the fact that now there is cloud system, and now everybody can work and data can be saved and shared in the same manner. So post-COVID, there was enormous data being generated, regardless of where you're working from. And there needs to be a way to save this as a cloud in a cloud native way, instead of the normal way with saving infrastructures, carrying data and racks and stuff like that. So digital transformation is one of the major drivers for this market. And also cost optimization. Now, everybody is trying to move away from CapEx, which is capital expenditure, and involving in heavy infrastructure. For example, you have a company, your company is just trying to build an application or just a lead to e-commerce application. And instead of you investing heavily in buying CPUs, buying memories, having to work with network engineers and stuff like that, you can easily just deploy your application on cloud. And the only thing you just need to do is focus on deploying the application, and you don't have to worry about the capital area, the infrastructure expense. So, and the good thing about cloud is you pay for whatever you use, operational expenditures. You pay for whatever you consume. So those are that's one of the driver for the market of cloud adoption, and also scalability. And just to break it down for us, for example, you have a website. Your website, maybe 1,000 users actually visit your website in a day, averagely. And now we know, Black Friday or different promo days, and all of a sudden 10,000 people visit your website. The next thing that will happen is it would crash because you were not expecting that kind of workload. But with the invention of cloud and everything, you can easily scale using cloud. So you don't need to worry about, if it's 10,000 users, I'm fine. 20,000, I'm fine. Cloud will handle that for me. And I will just only have to pay for whatever I use. And if this number decreases tomorrow, it still adjusts. So, and that's one of the basic benefits of cloud, scalability. And, we have compliance and security as well. So let's just go back to like the impact on the job market. Now, everybody knows this is cloud, oh, cloud DevOps and this. So what is the impact on the job market? What skills are in demand? Which I believe some of us before we, come to the webinar, we researched about maybe what is cloud. And the one thing that pops up every time on Google and YouTube, you just see things like DevOps. Everybody wants to be a DevOps engineer, solution architect. So there are skills in demand for cloud. We have cloud architects, we have DevOps and automation, we have cloud security compliance, we have data engineers. And these are one of the questions people often ask me. Oh, I'm a data engineer or I'm a software engineer. How do I become a cloud engineer? I'm like, yeah, you're already a cloud engineer. The difference is, as a software engineer, you're building your architecture or whatever, your software in in an old-fashioned way, or I would say in a standalone way. But now you can leverage the same skill as a software engineer and build your software in the cloud. As a data engineer, you can still do the same thing you do as a data engineer. You do them on the cloud, and that makes you a cloud data engineer. The only difference is understanding the skills and the services needed in the cloud and leverage the same skill you have in the cloud. So there are a lot of skills in demand. Network engineers, people who have done CCNA back then as a network engineer, you can bring that same skill into the cloud and still be a network engineer in the cloud. And also, there's always a report of shortage of skilled talent. It says 80% of enterprise says the gap talent is a barrier to maybe cloud ambition. Even though we see a lot of people, cloud engineers, cloud this and cloud that, they still keep saying there is a shortage. And sometimes we keep wondering, oh, there's no job. But I can tell you categorically that organizations still bring out jobs, job descriptions, job adverts for cloud engineers. The only thing is, do you have the required skills, or have you positioned yourself in a way that you can be picked for this skill? Because you have a lot in the talent pool, you have a lot of people, global talent pool. But how do you stand out in this pool? And also, we see people talk about their testimonies of people saying they got remote jobs, they work remotely, even though organizations are trying to go back to how it was before, the COVID era. And also now, if we look at the market share in 2025, AWS, so I would talk about the three major cloud. We have other cloud, but the major ones, we have AWS, Azure, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. We have others like Alibaba, we have Oracle, we have IBM, and different clouds. But as per 2025 report, the market share, AWS has the highest, which is 31% in the industry. Azure has 25%, GCP has 11%, and others share 33%. So regardless of this platform, each organization has their niche, the cloud providers they like to work with. And I think different countries as well have their cloud providers that are very rampant to different countries or different regions as well. But regardless, as a cloud engineer, with your basics, with your foundation is strong, when your foundation is strong, you understand what it means to work as a cloud engineer, and easily you can work with multi-cloud. I personally, in my organization, we do multi-cloud, all clouds, even OCI, which is Oracle. And as a cloud engineer, I wouldn't say, oh, I know this, I don't know this. Even though sometimes I give preference to AWS because I'm an AWS community builder. But regardless, I still work on Azure and GCP. And that makes you stand out in the job industry, because if I'm looking for a job and they say, oh, we're looking for only Azure engineers, I shouldn't say, oh, I'm an AWS person, I don't know Azure. And because of that, I wouldn't get a job. So as a cloud engineer, you have to be skilled in multi-cloud. Definitely not saying you should know 100% of all the cloud, but understand the basis of what cloud is all about. And the opportunities, why AWS cloud platform leads, multi-cloud skills offers a broader job opportunities, which I've tried to discuss as well. So I believe sorry, excuse me. So I believe having the knowledge as a multi-cloud person gives you more opportunities. Now, so we've talked about the opportunities in the cloud space. Now, there are emerging areas as well where people are actually trying to go into. We have areas of FinOps, when it comes to cloud optimization. Every organization likes to cut costs, regardless of how big they are. Nobody wants to spend money. So looking at going into cloud, there is aspect of FinOps in cloud where you can do cloud cost optimization. If you're good with that, organizations will hire you to save them money. And we have cloud native development. We have the era of serverless Kubernetes. These are new technologies that are very much, you know, they have come to stay. That's what I would say. They have come to stay. And we have industries that are hiring, the finance industry, the ed sector, the telecom, everybody's going into the cloud, even the government. So how to stand out, I've talked about the skills we have to focus on, mastering cloud providers like AWS, Azure, and GCP. And there are supporting tools as well. We've seen different DevOps tools, important tools like Terraform, CDKs, security best practices. So these are supporting tools that can actually make you stand out. Also, I would like to talk about certifications and portfolio. For example, myself as an AWS engineer, I belong to a group what they call dev.to. I write blogs on that too. Writing blogs is a way of showcasing that you understand your skill, that you can pass out knowledge to the next person. So, and it is being encouraged to write blogs as well regarding whatever you've learned. If it's on LinkedIn, just share the knowledge. People are saying it, they understand. And the more you write about something, the more you remember it. You won't forget it. And people also ask these questions every time. They say, is it worth it to have certifications? So these are questions we often, some will say, oh, certification is not worth it. Some will say, oh, it's worth it. Some would focus on only doing certifications and don't have the skill. They don't have the hands-on skill. They only focus on the certifications. Why some would also have the hands-on skill, but there's no certification. So these are things we need to weigh as well. I, as a person, will tell you, have your skills, at the same time, have your certifications. Because some job will literally tell you they're looking for these two certifications if you don't have them. Certifications gives you a foot in the door. While because now in the era of AI, only AI, reads now we have ATS that actually screens your resume or whatever. So there are tag words they look for. So there should be a section for certification or portfolio, whatever we call them, in your resume, even if it's two, you have a professional architect, at least showcase that you understand it and you've done an exam to show that you understand them. So we have different certifications in AWS. I personally have 11 out of 12 certifications in AWS. We have solution architect, we have for Azure as well, we have architect expert, we have GCP. And also if you can showcase real world projects in your portfolio, maybe GitHub or whatever you can show, which sometimes is not necessary for cloud architects, but just a way to showcase that you understand what you're doing. And also networking. How do you network for visibility? I believe some of us are on LinkedIn, and if you're not on LinkedIn, I would advise you to go on LinkedIn. You can network with people, visibility, get reference from people. You've been talking to them, you've been showcasing your work, just like I said now. You've been showing by writing blogs on LinkedIn, writing whatever you've done on LinkedIn or different avenues, and trying to network with people. Then also contributing to open source and cloud communities. Find blog communities where you can actually contribute to, maybe meetups or writing blog posts. Also, and that I would lead us into, trying to position yourself, which I see a lot of time. People have the skills, but they are not positioned. You have to position yourself, tailor your resume for cloud roles, focus on the impact story. My manager will always tell me something. He says, tell me a story, give me a story, regardless of whatever you've built. Sometimes I work on things, sometimes, project. And if you don't have the soft skill to deliver that project, to make it a story, it's as if as you've not done anything. So you must know how to, focus on an impact story on whatever you do. For example, if you do AWS, if you apply for AWS job, they have something they call STAR method of answering their questions: situation, task, action, and results. It's like a story. What is your situation? What's the situation of that project? What's the task you're trying to achieve? What is the action you've done? And what is the result? So it's like a story. So you need to position yourself as well and understand the soft skill to deliver whatever you've done in interviews. So I would say based on, because of our time to give room for questions, I would say action plan for whatever we've done so far. We've talked about how to stand out, you know, the opportunities in the cloud space, and also the current cloud market landscape, and how to position yourself also in the industry. So thank you. So we'll give room for questions. So from our questions, we'll be able to dig deep into those questions. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Olawale, for that insightful session. I think Olawale covered most of all that we intend to talk about today, basically talking about the impact of the cloud markets, right? And also you talked about the importance of certification, how to position yourself in today's world, and also for those who are already in tech but not actually cloud DevOps space yet, maybe like you are a software engineer or a data engineer. You also spoke to the fact that you are already there, right? I mean, it's been an insightful session from my end, but right now we are just going to be going ahead into taking some questions from the Slido. So please ensure that you put your question down. If you have any question, please ensure that you put them in the Slido, using the Slido link, rather. We'll be there to take all questions. That's the link in the chat box once again. So please ensure that you put down your questions. All right. So going into the question and answer, Olawale, we have some questions here already that we would like you to answer. Okay, so we're just gonna dive right into it from the top, and we'll see how many we can take before we run. All right. So Chidi is asking, how do the chances of securing skilled worker visa sponsorship in cloud DevOps role compare with data analyst role in the UK right now, which is more popular? Okay, how do the chances, or what are the chances rather, of securing skilled worker visa sponsorship in cloud DevOps role compared to data analyst role in the UK right now, which is more popular?
Okay, so to answer Chidi, so to be fair, I think I will talk from the perspective of my friends in the UK. Our friends in the UK have mentees in the UK as well, but currently I'm not in the UK. So for skilled work visa sponsorship, I'm not an immigration consultant, but talking from the experience I've had relating with people, it depends on the niche of the company. Now, cloud DevOps, to be truthful, if you're just coming into the industry, cloud DevOps is wide. There are a lot of experiences you have to. Cloud DevOps involves automation, which I won't lie to you, involves you writing scripts, Linux, a little code. Also involves you understanding automation, Chef, Terraform. Involves you understanding Kubernetes. So I don't know how, if you're skilled and you have those skills, if you get a job in that field, most likely companies are able to sponsor. Depends on the company as well. But for data analyst role as well, you have to be skilled. Data analyst role, you know, if you're not coming into the cloud as a data analyst, you're good with BI, you're good with BI is Power BI is a Microsoft Azure tool. You're good with different, BI tools. It all depends on the organization. Personally, speaking to a friend of mine, he was a data analyst and then he got a job. I tutored him on AWS as a data. So he already had the skills of a data analyst and even a data engineer because he understood data warehousing and things like this, but he didn't understand cloud. So I just told him you can move these skills into the cloud. And then he got a role as an AWS data engineer. And luckily for him, the company could sponsor him. And don't forget, if you're getting these roles, if you get into these roles, sometimes it is not necessary that the organization sponsors you. I'm very aware there is a route called technician in the UK, which I've had a lot of friends applied for. If you're skilled and you have this, you can apply for that because it's already in your field. You have to be able to prove it that you are in the tech space for technician. So I believe the answer. So it depends on the organization. You can never say this is it.
All right, thank you so much for that. Thank you. So someone is asking, how do I avoid getting stuck in endless learning without getting hired?
Yeah, I saw this question and I believe I'm in a very good spot to talk about this. Um, for Charles, you've been learning. It happened to me. Yeah, it's happened to the best of us. It's happened to my friend who I said is a data engineer as well. He's done every course in the US. He's done MIT courses. He spent over $7,000 doing courses. And one day we had a long talk about it. So sometimes imposter syndrome sets in. It's very easy. It's called imposter syndrome. It happens to the best of us. How? You keep learning. and you feel the need to learn more. Oh, I don't know it yet. Oh, I don't know it yet. I'm not there yet. It happened to me. It happened to me years back. Even till now, sometimes I still feel, oh, I'm not there yet. But the truth is, what you know, a lot of people don't even know it yet, and they have the job. So the only thing I would say is close your book. You've learned so much, keep learning. But the first thing is apply for the job. Go for interviews. The more you do interviews, the more you understand the angles question come from. And one day you would always get your job. So the job industry is so wide now that you can keep up. Sometimes I've seen guys who are like senior engineers, 20 years experience, they apply for jobs, and within 10 minutes, their resume is rejected. You keep asking what happened. It's not as if they don't have the skills for the job. But now here is here, ATS and stuff like they just screen it out. But one day you always get yours. Definitely, you always get yours. But don't let imposter syndrome stop you from applying for jobs and getting interviews. Just keep applying. Tailor your resume to it. Apply. Go there, say whatever you know, do hands-on. And then one day you will definitely get your job.
Thank you so much. I hope that answers the question for Charles. There you have it, and for everyone as well who has that feeling. Okay, so to the next question. Someone asked, do I need to be good at coding to succeed in cloud, or can I avoid programming? And someone also asked, I have zero tech background. Is cloud really accessible to me, or just marketing hype?
Okay, so I think the two questions actually go together. So the first one is do you have a zero background in tech? And so I've seen people who have zero background in tech and they've come into the tech space and done well. So let's look at it from this angle. I don't know your background, but let me look at it from you're coming from a management background, right? You don't have a tech knowledge. So that doesn't stop you from going into cloud or tech space. Now you have, not everybody is a software engineer. You have things like technical product managers. You have project managers. I've seen project managers that handle the whole project for us, and she already understood the whole technology, the whole terminology. She knows what you guys are saying. But the thing is, she can't write the code. But you can't tell her this is it. She tells you what it's all about. Right. So as a non-technical person, there are still ways you can bridge the gap and come into the technical space. For example, going as a technical project manager or product manager, meaning you understand the product, you understand the life cycle of a product, why the product, or whatever they do in product management. I think I tried to study one time. Whatever you do in product management, how the product, how to solve a problem for the product, how to handle the product from the perspective of the user. I think that's what product owners are for. Understanding the user perspective. And now when it comes to the technical aspect, now you understand that, okay, these guys are the one doing the job, but you think for them. For example, I'll give you a scenario. I once spoke to a senior product person in Amazon, and he asked me a question. He said, look at it from this angle. As a product person, I'm not writing the software. I didn't build the software. I believe we all know Amazon Fire Stick. He says, okay, there is a Fire Stick that the software people have built, and they've shipped it out. And now you realize as a product person, they come to you and they tell you there is a bug in their project. How do you resolve it? I was like, oh, I'm an engineer. I didn't think about how to solve the product because I'm not looking at it from a product management person. And what he told me was, oh, we would actually make it in such a way that they will write their code that once the person receives their Fire Stick and plug it into their TV, there is an automatic update. So look at it from that angle. The way he thought, he's not writing the code, but he's thinking at it from the user perspective and from the management perspective. And he still ended up being in the technology space, making money in Amazon. So you don't have to be 100% the coder or software. And also the second question that says, I'm not good in coding. Not every angle of cloud belongs to code. For example, as a cloud operations person, you're handling IAMs, permissions, organization, you don't have to write code. And that was why I said DevOps, you would script in DevOps. But as a cloud operations person, as a cloud security person, you don't need to write code. You just need to understand the security, the compliance in cloud.
Wow, thank you so much. I think that answers the question as well. Thank you. That was really comprehensive. Okay, so we still have more questions. We still have some questions. I think I'm going to be skipping through some because you mentioned them while you were speaking. Okay, someone says, are there long-term career paths in the cloud? beyond just the typical engineering roles. And to merge it together, I'm going to be asking what do entry-level cloud jobs actually expect? Please be brutally honest about requirements. This is deep.
Yeah, I
Must
like
have been
this
so
person's
personal to the
question.
person.
Yeah, the person
Exactly.
said, please be brutally honest with us. Yeah, I'll be brutally honest because I've been there, right? So, let's go with, are there long-term career paths in cloud beyond technical engineering roles? Definitely. When you get into the industry, you define your path you want. For example, 2 years back, I was looking at myself, I was like, I've gotten to the pinnacle whereby technical things don't interest me anymore. Then I said to myself, I want to go through the route of product, right? That was why I started learning product, and I'm like, this is not for me. I went back to my technical. So the more you go in the industry, you can carve out your niche. For example, I'm doing cloud as a cloud architect, but sometimes I tailor my resume to an enterprise software architect. What is enterprise? You understand the business requirement and translate them to technical requirement. When you get to that point, you don't need to do the technical, the writing the code. What you do is now you start thinking as an architect. You build the frameworks. So roles like that takes you to, the VP role, maybe you're getting to the head of engineering, stuffs like that. You might leave technical a bit and now go into more like the business, client facing, talking to the stakeholders. But that comes with the years of experience. That's a long-term goal, not within the first 5 years. And also for the person that said I should be brutally honest, I've mentioned it in the beginning. Watching YouTube videos encourages us, but sometimes it sells us fallacies. You see DevOps engineer making $200,000. You can be lucky. But to be brutally honest, it doesn't work that way. Because for someone to pay you $200,000, I will tell you the skills you need alone in DevOps. Just go to Indeed and put DevOps and check the requirements. You keep asking yourself, how can I know all this? You see Terraform for IAC, Kubernetes, serverless, so many things, Chef, Puppet, Assemble, everything. So now coming into the entry level now, entry level requirement for entry level, because the job market is saturated, I would say you are required to at least know your basics very well and the architecture very well, hands-on. So when you're answering question, you can answer question as someone who has a 2, 3 years experience. I don't want to hire you, pay you $100,000 for cloud foundation knowledge. That is if you're looking at that money they advertise for you on YouTube, right? But sometimes, if you don't mind, a lot of us, we're trying to come in at a later age. We have a lot of things to meet up. The bills are there, which I understand. But coming as an entry level that you mentioned, if you don't mind, you get a good organization, your entry level, you come in as an entry level, they're paying you lesser than what you expect. You build on the job for a year plus, then you can move. That was what my friend did in the UK. He started as a data analyst. He understood the data engineering part, and from there did the cloud data engineering warehouse, and he got a good job later on. They paid him well. Did like a year again and moved to another job, and that's it. So, but to be brutally honest, the requirements check indeed it's crazy. So that means you have to study and you must do hands-on, not just read books, hands-on. And that's why I think Cloud Vista has actually done like different structures to understand hands-on and where. And it does not just stop with the boot camp. You have to do your own self-study. Self-study is the best way. After they teach you, now that we have AI, because I saw a question, someone said, is AI affecting our cloud job demand? It's not affecting. People say it's affecting, but for me, it's not. Because now you can study well. Before you can actually see a question, someone tells you 2 + 2 is 4. Now you can put it in ChatGPT, but the best thing is to know how to prompt, how to ask ChatGPT questions, not just type it. You ask it as if you're talking to your friend. Okay, yes, 2 + 2 = 4. But can you explain to me why it is 4? Why not 8? ChatGPT will break it down for you and give you reference. So I think he answers the question for the AI person and also, the entry level question as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Olawale. Okay, so I'm going to be merging these questions together. Someone says, what types of roles are available in the cloud space beside cloud engineer, and which cloud roles allow me to work internationally while living locally? I live in Nigeria.
Okay, so for the first question, what types of role are there in cloud space? So
Yeah.
many roles. I mean, so many roles. Cloud engineer is like a big word. Cloud engineer to me now is like operations. So I would for this person, I would tell you personally, up until last year, I didn't even know my role. To be truthful with you, since I left my previous company as an AI/ML engineer to my new company, I came in as a cloud architect. I was doing a job of a cloud engineer. I was doing a job of a cloud operations person. I was doing a job of a solution architect. So I keep asking myself as well, what's my job role? I don't know. But apart from cloud engineer, you have different roles. You have the DevOps, you have the data engineer, you have the data analyst. In the same cloud, you have the network engineer, you have the security engineer. So now I think they are trying to change, AWS is trying to change AWS SysOps to Cloud Ops, I think. Yeah, Cloud Ops. So which is operations that manages the organization, the control tower, and stuff like that. So you have the Cloud Ops, in that same cloud, you have AWS developer, which means you as a developer outside AWS, you're bringing your developer skill into the AWS, building application, front end, everything, using AWS services like Amplify and other services. Cloud developer is there. If you're saying you're a backend engineer, you can still be a backend engineer also in the cloud. So you have cloud developers in there, you have AWS software engineers. So many roles. You have AWS AI/ML engineer. That was my last job description. AI/ML engineer, AWS, or maybe cloud. So you have every role in the cloud, but you need to tailor your niche towards what you think it's comfortable for you. Now that takes us to pyramid form of learning. Your base must be solid, understand everything. Now, the more you grow in your career, you pick a niche. Oh, I don't want to stress myself. I want to be a DevOps person. These are the tools that I need. I don't want to care about your security aspect. So that is it. And also, I understand this person from Nigeria. You want a cloud role, you want to work internationally. The truth is, a lot of people, they get it, but the brutal, to be honest, it's difficult. I've seen a lot of people trying to get this. And now that most organizations are trying to, go back to big organization is trying to go back to 4 days in a week or 5 days in a week. So they are trying to scrap, the remote role and stuff like that. So it's very difficult, extremely difficult. But we cannot rule the fact out. If you're good enough, you'll get it. But I know there are websites, Fiverr and stuff like that, whereby you can get maybe gigs per hour or stuff like that. They are still much available. But if you want to get a full-time job internationally, is doable, but chances are slim, to be brutally honest, because every organization wants you to be in their country. One, tax issues, they want to pay tax to their country, they want to, so things like that. So I would say possible, but difficult. But also in Nigeria right now, the cloud space in Nigeria is becoming big. So I know organizations in Nigeria, cloud organizations that are hiring for cloud engineers. I know of Cloud Plexo, a few Reliance, a few cloud organizations in Nigeria that are hiring and they are paying very well. So
Well, thank you so much, Olawale. We still have some questions here before we wrap up. I think we're just going to be taking maybe one or two questions. Someone says, I hardly come across junior cloud engineer roles. How can I get an entry-level job in cloud?
okay, so this question I would try to match it with someone who says, I how do I overcome the no experience barrier when applying for jobs? So it's still the same thing. Yes, because the money they pay for cloud engineers, regardless if you're paying you $70,000, $80,000 to a six figure, they want you to do the job of a 6 years experienced person. And that's how the industry is now. I want to pay you, but you will work for that money, no free money, right? So hence you won't get a junior role. So what I tell people is this. Now, if you see a job role, they say 5 years experience, and that also goes to the person who says no experience. Or they say, okay, 3+ years experience. And you know deep down you just have 6 months or 1 year experience. The first question you should ask yourself is, how good am I? You won't lie to yourself. You can lie to another person, but you won't lie to yourself. How good am I? Do I understand the basics? If you ask me questions, do I know? Can I answer these things? Try to do mock interviews with people you know cloud. Let them throw questions at you. Can I answer this question? If I can, it's all about a game of number right now. I won't lie to you now. It's a game of numbers because nobody's reviewing your CV. It's ATS, AI. So now tailor your resume. If the job description says 3+ years, yeah, put it. You have 3+ years experience. You've done boot camps, whatever work you've done. Yeah, you've done this 3 years. Tailor your resume to meet that 3 years of experience. When they call you for an interview, the questions they ask you, if you're good, you would answer them. I will give you an example. I once applied for a job of 10 years experience, and then I had like maybe 7+ years or something as an enterprise. But I'm like, I saw the job description. I'm like, no, I know it. These 10 years will not discourage me. I applied. They picked me. I did the interview. I passed the interview. In fact, I got to the final round. The only thing was the pay they offered me was not what I wanted. I was okay with where I was. So I'm like, okay, so if I can pass 10 years interview that you guys put at that 7 years, that's because I know, because I literally said enterprise software architect, and they believe as an enterprise person, you've done more than like 12, 15 years in the industry, which I've not done then. But then I passed it because the questions they were asking me was related to things I have done in the past. So don't let it stop you. But the first question you need to ask yourself is, have I learned to that part? Can I pass it? You will know. Like there is a urge you feel. And don't let imposter syndrome come in. Try it first. It's two things. Hire me or not, yes or no. If you say no, I'll go back to the drawing board and come again. If you say yes, I'm lucky. It's a game of numbers. So never be discouraged. I can do everything. Try it first. If they fail you, they won't beat you. You go and come back. But never trying is the problem because you never know. So just try it. That's what I will tell you.
I love that. Thank you so much. Okay, so we still have some more questions. Someone says, I'm 43 years old. Will my age be a disadvantage if I start a cloud career now? And then there's also another one that says, okay, I learned that it's too late to start a career in cloud because others are already succeeding. What do you think? So I want you to just speak to those
Uh,
questions.
I mean, those questions are similar, but this last one actually caught my attention. I learned too late. So anybody that tells you something is too late to succeed in life, the first thing is to run away from them. That's the first thing. Nothing is never too late. KFC started chicken at what age, right? So nothing is too late. And yeah, for the three is not old. I mean, depends on what you've been doing before that time, right? If you've been in the space of like tech or science or whatever, or even if not, just like even if you've been in management, the word tech is wild. Is Tech is very wide. You can decide to go for the technical project aspect. You can decide to go for security. Also, people always forget something in tech. Tech is not just about writing code. In tech, you also have governance and privacy in tech, which is a big. In fact, I have a friend who is a lawyer. She went into governance and privacy, tech governance and privacy. She does not have to write any code, still the same tech theory as a lawyer, privacy, and now she's making money with the bank, international bank, as a privacy person, governance and privacy. So it's not just about writing codes. So you look at the easier one. If you have a family, there is no time to read as such. We need to factor that as well. You can look at the easier part, governance and privacy, security, compliance, looking at maybe the technical project manager, technical product person, user perspectives, if you're good with that, depends on your background. If you're a science person, okay, I can still cope with this. Yeah, you can start learning, the cloud architecture, how it works, landing zones, hierarchies, and stuff like that. So it's never too late. And when someone says it's too late to start it, let me give you myself as an example. My first degree was in electrical engineering in Nigeria. I did a master's in artificial intelligence in India. I studied in India, then I got a job. First job was a DevOps. I worked as an AI engineer. Then later I worked as a DevOps person, and later I worked as a cloud architect. My background was in no way related to all these things. But the thing is constant learning. If you're a person that likes to learn, it's never too late for nothing. Tomorrow, if you tell me I can make a $1 billion in piloting or whatever, give me the textbook. I'll read it. If I need the money, I'll go for it, collect it. So it's never too late for anything. Depends on you, your zeal, and your willingness to learn. If everybody notices, I've been talking about willingness to learn, which is very important. Sometimes it can be demanding, but you just have to keep learning. So it's never too late.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. That answers the question. Okay, so one final question before we run. Someone says, what certificate should I take for entry level jobs in cloud? I know you talked about certification briefly, but this person I think would like to know the precise certification to take.
Okay, so for that question, it's a tricky one because for me, I have all these educations. I think I only don't have the securities education, and I intentionally did not do it anyway. So it's tricky. It depends on whatever you want to do. But as an entry person, I always tell people it's all about the money. Go for CCP, cloud practitioner. I think in Azure, it's foundation. So it depends on the cloud platform you want to pick. I won't want to tell you I won't want to tell you to go for Azure or AWS, right? I don't want to tell you this is better, this is not, because it depends on your preference. I have a preference towards AWS because they give me free money. I'm a community builder, so every year they give me like $1,000 coupon for my account. So I'll be loyal to them. But I noticed in North America, places like Canada, the US, they work more with Azure. In Japan, Korea, so few places they work more with GCP and AWS. My previous organization in Japan works only on AWS. Rakuten is big. They work with all clouds, but more of GCP. And you have in India, they do more of AWS and GCP. So it depends on the environment. So I won't tell you this is good, this is not good. But if you're going for any cloud platform, you can go for uh, Azure Fundamentals, CCP. But now, mind you, cloud practitioner in AWS and fundamental is not so regarded as a certificate for these guys. So they need you to start from the architect level, solution architect level. Then they have the professional. So why I always encourage the CCP is it boosts your confidence. You pass CCP, it's very easy. So it boosts your confidence of, yeah, I can pass it. But if you go straight for architect and you fail it, it demoralizes you. But so you need a confidence booster. And mind you, if like in AWS, if you pass CCP, is $100, they give you 50% on your next exam. Because architect alone is I think $300 or $150. CCP is $100. So if you pass CCP, instead of you paying $150, you pay $75. If you pass that again, they give you another free coupon of 50% on your next exam. So that's one benefit I see there. Azure, they are stingy. Anyway, you have to pay them. You pay them their full money, right? So it depends on whatever, but I will tell you, go for CCP as a confidence booster, then pick solution architect. So people try to dodge solution architect and go for developer, but I will tell you the first thing, go for solution architect because solution architect will build your base of all services, solution architect of all services. Then after that, you can now determine to go for maybe developer, for network, for whatever field you want to go into. But if you don't have a structure, do CCP, solution architect, and do the developer associate. I mean, this level associate, architect associate, developer associate. Before you finish those three, you should have had like a grounding understanding of what cloud is about. It's all about. So I think that's it.
Wow, thank you so much, Olawale. I think we've been able to touch on the very key questions here in Slido. Thank you for your time. All right, I think for the other questions that we have here, it's Cloud Booster related. Basically, some people want to know how much the tuition fee is and also knowing how to get started as well. I can see a question relating to that. Okay, to answer that question, we would like you to reach out to our program advisor. We are going to be dropping their link in the chat box. Okay, it's already there. So please ensure that you reach out to our program advisor. They will be able to answer all of your questions, right? They will be able to answer all of your questions with regards to how to get started. For the person who says she's about 43 years old, is it too late for me to start? It's not too late. Nothing is too late, basically. So please ensure that you reach out to our program advisor. They will be able to guide you and point you to what would be best for you. And for those with no tech experience, you have nothing to worry about. So we have different plans. We have different learning paths for everyone, regardless of your journey, regardless of where you are in your journey, whether you have a bit of tech experience or you do not even have any experience, any tech experience at all. All right. So we have all the different paths learning paths that you can just come in, and then we'll be able to guide you, we'll be able to advise you. So please ensure that you reach out to our program advisors. They will be in the best place to point you towards what is best for you, depending on where you are at the moment. Okay, so I think that answers all of the questions basically. So yeah, I can see a question. Someone says I joined late. Okay, I believe there's going to be a replay. There's going to be a replay. So please, you have nothing to worry about. So we'll be sending the replay of the webinar to you all. So please be on the lookout for that as well. Be on the lookout. Okay, yeah. So like I was saying, ensure that you reach out to our program advisor. Ensure that you reach out to them. That's the link to their WhatsApp number. Once you just click on the link, and you can also copy out the numbers as well, and just reach out to them. They will be able to guide you. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. This is past 7 o'clock, and I think that it's been a good time so far with you all. Thank you for joining us this Friday evening, and we hope to see you inside the training. Take care, everyone, and do enjoy the rest of your evening.